What is going on, guys? Nexas here, and welcome to the very first, I'd say, look at a freaking Marthon weapon. We have got a bunch of juicy news, of course, of the ARG and everything. It was actually really cool. If you don't know what's happened over the weekend, or of course on Friday, there's been basically a massive puzzle being going on community-wide and everything to try unlock some hidden information about, of course, Marthon, Bungie's new IP, which I know a lot of people are a little bit hesitant on because it's going to be an extraction shooter, a hero extraction shooter. And I know a lot of people who play Destiny aren't going to be going for it, but I will say the world building for this game is really sick. Over the weekend, we kind of learned a lot about kind of the UESC, of course, MIDA as well, which was like probably the most poignant part of it, the whole thing. They made a bunch of Twitter accounts, they have a Discord and everything. It was really dope, and you can see, you can actually go to this website now and like interact with the camera and stuff like that, and actually take your own picture of yourself in Marthon. And of course, we did get to see the cat, and I think that's like the biggest deal, okay? We got a small little trailer that kind of tells us that on Saturday this weekend, we will be getting an actual gameplay reveal. But guys, you know what? We don't really need to see exclusively. Okay, we all want to see a weapon reveal for Marthon. But you can actually test out a Marthon weapon, a weapon from that universe right now in Destiny 2. Yeah, this is the first look at a Marthon weapon, and of course, it's going to be the MIDA multi-tool. Now, we'll stress straight away, this is like a lot of conjecture and everything as well, so people are going to hit me with it. It's not confirmed, it's not confirmed. But if you actually look at the lore of the MIDA multi-tool, it is basically Zavala talking to Shaxx about banning certain weapons. So we all know the Red Death got banned, but they do talk about MIDA as well, and talk about how through the logs you can see it was designed by primitive AI, but it was made for or manufactured for use by the revolutionary government named MIDA. Mars is damnably arid, perhaps. That's one thing actually, just a lore point. MIDA, no one actually knows what it stands for. It's just everyone has their own interpretation of it. That's the really kind of cool thing. It's a really like covert organization. No one knows who it really stands for, but they all just know it's basically a revolutionary sort of organization. Zavala gave it to Rahul. He couldn't see anything about MIDA, and then he gave it to Lakshmi, who we all know before she just disappeared and everything. Lakshmi was kind of the future war code. They could actually see what was in different timelines and whatnot, and she insinuates that it came from another timeline. So the lore really behind it, and I know I'm not the biggest lore daddy, okay? I ain't no bife, but they will probably tell you that the MIDA is most likely tied in with Marthon. And I know people were like, yeah, but Marthon was only announced like recently. That is true, but the thing about Marthon is actually that Bungie have had Marthon for a while now. It's not new, it's not a brand new IP. It's a new extraction shooter that's coming out, but this has been a game for them for freaking years. It was one of their very first. You can actually play all the Marthon games, of course, on Steam. They're all free to play, and I might actually do some videos on them as well because they're real old school, but they're actually kind of cool. Long story short, we are going to try out our very first, I'd say, Marthon weapon, guys. The real Marthon. I will say, this actually still claps in PvP. It still does well. But yeah, this is the very first look at some Marthon weapon freaking gameplay. So yeah, without further ado, let's go into some PvP with the MIDA multi-tool. Alrighty, so we are going to be on the job with our Marthon ass weapon, our MIDA freaking multi-tool. As I said, we don't know what MIDA stands for, but my god, it can absolutely rail in some freaking PvP if you hit your headshots. Oh, there we go. MIDA is actually a really dope ass weapon and everything if you hit your shots, as I said. It's always been actually really good, even when scout rifles, I will say, aren't exactly the meta. It's a 200 RPM, and it still can't click heads like you can kind of see. I'm actually hitting some shots, and of course, another guy. Why is our whole team fighting just little old me? Leave me alone, please. But when it comes to the MIDA and how it shoots and everything, it has this sort of like, I'd say, needly sort of shot to it, which I will say, based off the trailer so far, that we haven't got actual full gameplay sort of, I'd say, looks. But when it comes to just the trailers that we have gotten from Marthon, it actually does seem to fit the aesthetic of course, Marthon, which is really dope, as I said. I don't know if this is like just so insane freaking foresight by Bungie to like have the MIDA multi-tool part of like Marthon or whatever or whatnot. But it still is really cool and everything. If you can hit your shot. Oh my god, I am ass. Oh, yo, you know what? Oh my god, I messed up the Icarus stash too. Okay, we're shocked. I'm just done. This does, of course, have oh, we'll get this guy's 1 HP. No, you're one shot. Okay, we finally freaking got him. That has no distractions with the catalyst and everything on it as well. But if I could shoot, I would be freaking dangerous with this thing. Oh my god, I'm legit just whiffing every freaking shot in it, buddy. Buddy, get away from the corner, Rifty boy. Come on, Rifty boy. Rifty, get away from the rift. As I'm standing in my own rift. You know what? I'm allowed to do it. No one else, okay? And Buddy is fighting two of them by himself. How are you not dead? We'll get one. I'm trying to help, bro. I'm trying to help. There's people everywhere. Oh, give me the heals, Poppy. Give me the heals. Thank you, Poppy. Oh, someone on my ass as well. Yo, guys, there's a guy here too. You know what's good? Ah, he's 1 HP. No, he's one shot. Oh man, I was just freaking doing work there. But so, oh, someone else is using the old freaking MIDA. And you know what, buddy? I just spawned in, Bungie. I've got a scout, and he is the sidearm freaking meta. What do you want me to do, huh? And I spawn in front of this guy again? Yo, Bungie, can we just not, please? Thank you. Let me just have the range fight at least this time. But the trailer is going to be coming out with some gameplay reveal and everything, which is going to be really, really dope. As you got to see that the weapon just feels aesthetically super, super nice. I love this like sort of feeling weapon. And MIDA, as I said, it's always been somewhat decent. It's a 200 RPM and everything, but even when scouts aren't doing that great, the MIDA can still absolutely kick ass, especially because, of course, you can't just see, oh, heal me. You can't basically just see always down sights and everything. It has the like built in. Basically, no overhead radar built in, which is just really, really dope, as I said. It really kind of blends into the weaponry and all that. And I just think that the MIDA, if weapons in Marthon are going to be like this, I'm telling you, it's going to be such a freaking dope-ass game. Oh, the highlighting scope as well. It's actually like one of the first that had like a highlighting scope too, which is just so freaking nice. I will say as well that I know a lot of people are kind of, I wouldn't say hesitant, but they're definitely kind of worried about an extraction shooter. A lot of people don't really play them. I played a good bit of Tarkov and everything. I played Hunt as well, which isn't as much as an extraction, but you're still extracting, so it's kind of similar. But it'd be more along the lines of course, Tarkov and everything. But I will definitely say, based off of the reactions, a lot of the content creators who got to play, of course, a bit of Marthon, I said, and also, we'll take that guy, and also just based off how much care they're putting into these trailers and the artwork and everything, I think it's gonna be a bit of a freaking banger. I know it says extraction shooters definitely aren't everyone's cup of tea, but that's mainly because Tarkov is like super hardcore. Like Tarkov is one of the most hardcore games you'll ever freaking play. Hunt isn't as hardcore, but I do understand that the loot and everything isn't exactly as rewarding as maybe Tarkov. Like when you go into, like, there's nothing to really loot, you're just going in PvP and maybe you get a gun off somebody in Hunt. That's kind of it. But I do think Bungie will definitely know how to kind of cater this game to the more casual sort of playlist. And I'm not saying like obviously like noobs, but just people who just want to have some fun gaming. Like I would consider myself really casual too. I'm not really a hardcore gamer, so I do really trust that Bungie will of course be able to do that. Not to frick gold gun. Well, I do trust that Bungie will be definitely able to kind of cater the game to the more I'd say just fun sort of gamer side of things, instead of just being absolutely, I've done Tarkov, I've done 2 Tarkov wipes. It is hardcore as hell, and the thing with Tarkov is, for me anyway, you do one run or you do one wipe and then you're just kind of done for a couple of at least a year maybe, because it's just, of course it's undergrads, but you're just like, I'm not doing that wipe again. Oh my god, it wipes and you're just back to square one. Oh, it's so hardcore. So I am really interested to see if they'll actually kind of break through, of course, into the extraction shooter sort of genre, because as I said, it's definitely dominated a lot by Tarkov, and a lot of other games have tried to do it, like Wild Frontiers I think was one of them, or something like that. There's a lot of different games that have tried and failed, but I do trust that Bungie, especially with the amount of resources they have behind them, I do think they'll pop off. I do think they'll do absolute work with it, and of course it'll be on console. Well, it'll most likely be on console as well, I'm pretty sure. So it will be a really interesting one to see, an actual console extraction shooter. Hunt is there, but Tarkov isn't, so it'll be really interesting to see that. But I will say overall, if there are weapons or anything like the MIDA multi-tool, which I will say is probably a bit of a fan favorite for a lot of people, if the weaponry is like this, I'm telling you, it's gonna be an absolute freaking banger. And this is, as I said, first look at the old Marthon freaking weapon in game. You know, it's in Destiny, yeah, not Marthon, but technically it is gonna be a Marthon weapon. We're gonna end this game though. We actually got the W, even though I did absolutely nothing. Good job, team. You all carried me because I was absolutely freaking ass. But yeah, MIDA multi-tool, as I said, absolute fan favorite and everything. And technically it is a Marthon weapon. I don't make the rules, boys. The Lord does. But yeah, BA super excited, of course, for Saturday. As I said, the community event got us that trailer, and it's going to be an absolute freaking banger of a trailer. Well, that is it from me, and of course, the MIDA multi-tool scout rifle itself. As I said, this is your first look at a Marthon-esque sort of weapon in-game, guys. We haven't got one. We will see a lot more, of course, on Saturday. We actually do know a little bit about sort of the weapons as well from the ARG. That's why the ARG was so cool. There was a little, like, lore drops everywhere. We've actually seen, like, a couple of, like, weapon schematics and everything, some mining tools and stuff as well. It was all part of the ARG. So the puzzle was really cool in that sense, and you did learn a lot, as I said, about, like, MIDA and everything, and little bits of lore tidbits here and there. But overall, guys, I'm super excited, of course, for the trailer, and I can't wait for them to actually have a full release. As I said, we'll probably be getting the alpha test sometime soon. I don't know who's going to get access to it or how you do. We'll most likely be getting alpha tests though, or maybe even a beta test sometime soon, which would be really, really dope. get your hands on it. And as I said, I know a lot of people are definitely hesitant, but especially if a beta test comes around, it'll be definitely worth giving a shot because aesthetically it looks hella dope. I mean, if you think the MIDA was already cool, I don't know if this was just absolute foresight on Bungie's part or just pure coincidence, but this is definitely one of like the sickest, I'd say, design wise, and just like standard sort of weapons. It does have that sort of, I'd say, Marthon or like straight angled boxy sort of look to it, and it does absolutely rail, and it has railed since legit the start of D1. So overall I will say the MIDA multi still really dope in D2 and everything, and it just gets me more pumped of course for the old Marthon once it comes out. As I said, once that trailer comes out on Saturday and we see the actual gameplay and everything, it's gonna be so dope. As I said, I love the extraction shooter genre anyway, so I'm a bit biased in that regard, but I cannot wait. I love the aesthetic and it's just going to be so dope. But regardless, if you liked the video, trust like. And you want to see more content, subscribe. Fantastic day. And hopefully I'll see you in the next collective in the next one.